if you want to still participate because of the recording. But here we go. All right, good afternoon and good morning to everybody. I think that all of you know that you're here to talk about the upcoming show in Portland. There we go. Now my PowerPoint decides to work, yay. So I'm going to be going over some details. This is being recorded. I will make it available to everybody following the call so that you can share it with your coworkers. And also, Darlene, you can share it with other exhibitors who may reach out to you, but there'll be a link that's ready for everybody. And so we're going to be talking about a number of things, if my PowerPoint will behave. And so here's the agenda for today. We do have an hour and a half, so hopefully we can cover all of this stuff. I have held questions for the most part till the end, but I will be stopping occasionally as we go through, just so you don't have to hold your question until the end, because some of this is important and you may have questions about it. So with that, I'm going to go forward. And the first thing I want to do is introduce the team. So as many of you heard, my name is Pam Goodell. I am the Marketing Senior Director at ITE, and I am the show manager and the person responsible overall for the exhibit and sponsorship that takes place at the annual meeting. With me, I also have Jennifer. Jennifer, do you want to go off mute and say hi?
Hello, everyone.
So Jennifer is our manager of membership experiences. Is that correct?
Member services.
Member services. Okay. And Jennifer is the person to know at ITE, especially on show site. She is an amazing customer service representative for ITE. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you are having a bad day and you just need someone to make you laugh, go up and tell Jennifer a joke, and her laugh, it is priceless, it is golden, and she will solve all of your problems for the day. I go into her office and I do a little dance, and she laughs, and I feel better. So Jennifer is ITE's secret weapon. Also, Adam Martin is our marketing director. Sorry, he does not have my job. He's our marketing director. He is not on the call today, but he is the person behind the scenes that makes everything run smoothly on site. And then our Lyman team, they manage our sales for exhibits, advertising, and sponsorship. And I know we do have a couple of people today on board. So I think Jill is on vacation, but Darlene, I saw you. Do you want to say a few words?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here to help ITE with their sponsorship and exhibit sales. And I just wanted to let everyone know that there are still some sponsorship opportunities available. So if anybody is interested in learning more, please reach out to us, and we're happy to have those conversations.
Thank you, Darlene. And Darlene will be on site. So just like Jennifer, this is a good representative and good visual to put in your mind, because you will be seeing her on site. And I think I saw Beth come in, and I don't know if Justin is on, but Justin Olson and Beth Sheehan are our sales representatives, and I'm sure that they've spoken to several of you. Do either of you want to say hi quickly?
This is Beth. Hi. You'll probably hear me on the phone.
Okay.
Darlene's right. Call us with anything. I'm happy to help.
All right. Awesome. Beth and Justin are great. They can answer all of your questions. And unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts, no one from Fern is able to be on the call today. And there is a transcript from this call, and all the questions that are coming about the exhibitor kit, etc., I will pass on to Jamie, and then we will send out one large kind of FAQ so that everybody has the answers. So Jamie Huxford is the person who kind of oversees the fern team and the decorator team for that. And then Elsie, as many of you know, and you'll find out more, she is our contact for the exhibitor kits. And then George Rawlings is the person who will help with shipping. So like I said, they weren't able to be on the call today, but we will get them questions and get you the answers that you need. So let me move forward. All right. I want to start with important dates and deadlines because that's always the most important thing. And right now there are only two. First of all, we need to have you start registering your exhibitor personnel. There'll be more details about that in just a few minutes. In fact, I believe it's the next slide, but please do work with Jennifer when she reaches out to you to get yourselves registered. Number one, it helps us prepare for your arrival. And number two, it will give you access to our app, which I will also be talking about in a minute. But Jennifer Childs is the one who will be reaching out to you to get you registered. The one thing to know is, and I'll mention this a couple of times, if you have people who are going to be setting up your booth and tearing it down but not attending the show, we still would like their names. They'll just have a badge that will, a handwritten badge that will let them get into the show. But we will require everybody to have a badge to get into the hall to either set up or tear down. So that's something that Jennifer can take those names and you'll be all set. The other deadline to know is July 24th is the deadline for discounted pricing from Fern. It's also the discounted pricing for the electrical, the internet, and any audio visual that you want from the Oregon Convention Center. ITE is providing basic Wi-Fi for the show. So, but if you wanted a dedicated T1 line, for instance, that would be something that you would need to order from the Oregon Convention Center. And I will have more information about that in just a second. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the schedule. We will begin registration for exhibitors if you're there early on Saturday, August 12th from 2 to 5, I believe, Jennifer. I think those are the times. I don't know if Colleen has confirmed those with you.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I'll double check
Okay.
though.
That's great. And then, but the and on August 12th, Fern, our decorator, will be in there setting up all the booths. So you don't need to show up, but if you're in the area and you want to pick up your registration materials, it's completely fine to do it on the 12th so that you're ready and set to go on August 13th when the exhibit hall opens for you all to set up, and it's open all day. You have a good amount of time to do it. I know some of you have bigger booths than others. And then we have our opening reception, which we would like all exhibitors to be in their booths for that reception. There'll be food, there'll be a lot of people. It's a really fun time. It's a really great opportunity for you to get your feet wet with our attendees. And then we have all day Monday, the exhibit hall is open. You'll see that. We have breakfast and lunch scheduled as well as 2 breaks. And this year, we have an area for poster sessions. Most of you who have seen the floor plan can see that. And in the morning, just before lunch, the students will be in there doing their poster sessions, which means there will be additional people walking through the hall. But I would also encourage all of you who are interested in hearing what the next generation of transportation professionals are doing is wander over and talk to some of the students about their poster sessions. You never know, you may find a new employee in that group. And then on Tuesday, we have the breakfast and then the continental and a break in the morning. And then the exhibit hall will break down at noon. There is another poster session in there just before, and I apologize, I thought it was on this schedule. It's not. There is a poster session from 10:15 until noon or 10:30 until noon in the exhibit hall, which is why we have breakdown at noon. And we're asking all of you to wait until noon to break down. Okay, I'm going to stop here just because I have been talking for a little bit. If I haven't covered something yet, give it a minute. But if you have any questions about the schedule or anything else, please feel free to ask. Okay. Moving on. This is where Jennifer will be instrumental. I mentioned this earlier, and we're covering this now because Jennifer does need to step off. She has another engagement. So we are again asking people to register now. It facilitates your booth setup, and it'll also help me get you access to the mobile app. So if you're not aware, if you haven't exhibited with ITE before, or you have and just need a reminder, we provide one complimentary full registration and one complimentary exhibitor personnel for every 100 square feet of space. And so for a full registrant, you would be attending you can attend all the sessions, the awards lunch, the closing event, everything that ITE offers. And then if you're an exhibitor personnel, you do have access to the food events that take place in the exhibit hall, but you don't have access to concurrent sessions or the awards lunch or any of the plenaries. And then if you have additional personnel that you'd like to register, they're $100 US, because I know we have some Canadians on the call. And then the other question about registration that Jennifer often gets is about exhibit hall passes. And these are passes that you can provide to your customers and others not attending the show that you would like to have them come into the exhibit hall. They get we give out 10 passes per 100 square feet of space. Important, it's to know that these cannot be used during the opening reception or food events. These could be for during the day, for a customer that you want to come in, when the exhibit hall, when people attending the conference may be in concurrent sessions, but and if they came in during lunch, they would just not be allowed to get one of the lunches that we're serving. Those are controlled through tickets. Once you're registered, I believe Jennifer will be reaching out to you, or you can reach out to her about getting the passes, and she has those. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yeah, and I've already sent out emails to everyone about registration. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call, and I can get you all set up.
Okay, any questions about registration? I thought I heard something. Nope. Okay. Okay. This is what I think everybody is here for. It's about the exhibitor kit and the highlights. So Fern is using an online platform for the exhibitor kit. And the kits have been distributed to all the key contacts for the organizations exhibiting. This is the person who signed the contract, or the person that Wyman has as the key contact for your organization. If there is somebody from your team that needs access to the exhibitor kit, it's usually better to have the contact directly contact Elsie, and her information is here. So that way she knows that you're an official person with the exhibitor. Or if you have a team that's working for you to set up the booth, please go through the contact or through me to get your exhibitor kit links sent to you. And the reason for that is we have had issues in the past where 2 or 3 people from the same company have ordered the same furniture without realizing it, and it turns into a little bit of a hassle and a challenge on setup day, and we're just trying to make sure that is streamlined as possible. Also, and this is different, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this. This year, the hall is not carpeted, and we do want exhibitors to have carpeting. And I know this is different than a lot of shows, which is why I'm going to focus on it for a little bit. Normally we're in hotels. If you, like last year we were in New Orleans, we were in a hotel ballroom. Most of the districts and sections will be in a hotel where the hotel ballroom is carpeted and it is not an issue. And you just buy extra carpeting if you want a little bit of extra padding. We are in the Oregon Convention Center this year. It is a much larger hall, and the Oregon Convention Center is not carpeted, it is concrete. ITE is going to be carpeting the aisleways and some of the main areas, but we are not carpeting individual booths. So that is on your own and it is required. If you have your own carpeting that you want to bring, that's fine. You are responsible for installing it. And I would recommend that you reach out to Fern to let them know that so that they don't set too much of your stuff beforehand. Also, okay, I think there's a question, Rhiannon.
For the carpeting, is there a company that you guys suggest that we use, or is it just kind of all on our own?
You can order it through Fern.
Thank you.
Welcome. That will be in the exhibitor kit. Again, I mentioned this earlier, the shipping deadlines. You can start, I believe they will start receiving information or receiving boxes to their warehouse in the middle of July. But you do need to make sure that you take a look at the shipping deadlines and make sure that you get everything to their advanced warehouse ahead of time. The only way that will change is Portland is just like and Oregon Convention Center do have union rules. If you can bring in your booth and booth stuff in one trip without using hotel or Oregon Convention staff to help you, like if you need a dolly or something, you have to be able to do it all yourself in one trip. That's fine. You can ship the stuff to yourself at your own expense and bring it into your booth. And if everybody can mute themselves, that would be great. And then the last thing we're going to be touching base on some booth regulations in just a second. But lastly, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, but for some of you who came in late, we are at the Oregon Convention Center, and the Oregon Convention Center directly provides electricity, internet, and audiovisual needs. There is information in the exhibitor kit. It's at the bottom. I think it's under more services, where you can order stuff directly from the Oregon Convention Center through the exhibitor kit. We are providing general internet access, but as I mentioned earlier, if you want a direct internet line or if you need some special audio visual equipment, then you'll need to order it through the Oregon Convention Center. Mike?
So Pam, yeah. So Fern will handle the carpeting, the convention center will handle electricity. Furniture, is that Fern or is that somebody else?
That is Fern as well. So
Okay,
you'll be able to see that. So
there's only two
and
companies we need to talk to then, Fern and the convention center.
yes.
Okay.
And Mike, thank you for reminding me about that. I did forget to put this on a slide. For every 10 by 10 booth, every 100 square feet, you will get one complimentary 6-foot draped table and 2 chairs and a wastebasket. So if that's all you need, then you don't need to order any other tables and chairs, unless you want special chairs, because these are going to be the basic chairs and basic tables. So if you wanted a high boy and some nice high chairs, that would be what you would order. And Zong, is that it? Can you? I see that you have a question.
Yes. Yeah, maybe I missed that part. So the carpet we have to pay?
Yes.
Do you know how much it's going to cost?
I don't off the top of my head. It's in the exhibitor kit.
Well, we already paid the registration and we have to pay this for extra.
Yeah, so that's been something that we have indicated from the first day that this hall was not carpeted. So if you want, we can talk about that offline in greater detail. But this is what I wanted to make sure that we highlighted again so that people were not surprised.
Pam, Mike again. So do you think the conference center internet is going to be adequate for most people unless you need something special that requires internet access?
Yes, it should be just fine. I mean, it's the same as we've provided in previous years. So I would say unless, you plan on holding some sort of, I can't even think what you might need a more dedicated line for, but, I think last year some people were doing a game or something in their booth, and if that was internet necessary, I think it was just something that they built themselves and it didn't use the internet. But if you were going to use some kind of high level internet to run that game, then yes, you would want to get your own line. I think for most exhibitors, it will be just fine. If you have any questions about your booth, and then please feel free to reach out to me directly. Dana?
Oh, hey, I had a quick question about the carpet thing. I know you mentioned that you said it was uncarpeted. So are you saying that we are required to carpet, or you're just saying if you want carpet? Like if we wanted to do soft tiles at this point, we did not budget for any flooring. We were just under the assumption you're saying, by the way, it wasn't carpeted, but so we're required to put some flooring down and you're suggesting carpet and we pay that. Not included.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean,
It has to be
if
carpet.
you don't want, if you don't want to carpet your booth, I just think it's going to be a concrete floor.
We can do anything we want. We could put in square rubber tile things or some kind of thing if we wanted.
Yes.
At our cost, and you're offering carpet to us at some sort of good rate if we want to.
Yes, it is at a discounted rate.
Okay, all right, thanks for clarifying.
Okay, other questions about the exhibitor kit?
Pam, sometimes, and I don't know if ITE does it, but there's like a package, like with a table and 2 chairs and carpet and a wastebasket. Are you guys doing that to make it easier for some of the newer exhibitors so it's all in one? Is that available?
So the package does it. The package included the chair, the 2 tables, and the wastebasket that I mentioned earlier. Did not include the carpeting. But I mean, if there's a lot of concern and I'm starting to hear more, we can take that back and I can discuss it and see what we can do. I know that this is a change for a lot of you, which is one of the reasons why we indicated early on that the hall wasn't carpeted. It is cost prohibitive for ITE to carpet the whole floor, but I will see, I will see what we can do.
Okay, yeah, this is Dane again. I just wanted to make sure, because earlier on the call, it sounded like you said it was required, but are you saying that it's just recommended? Because it's going to be.
We would really
making us do it.
The Oregon Convention Center isn't making you do it. It was going to be an ITE requirement. I would say it is strongly recommended that you have flooring, whether it's carpeting or tile. It just adds to the professionalism of your booth.
Oh yeah, I fully agree. None of us really want concrete, but I just wasn't sure if it was required. Because if it is required, it seems like it should have been baked into the premium, but I think we get it. It's great. If you can go back and come back with something.
Okay. We will get back to you as soon as possible on the carpeting. A couple of things though, I do want to keep in mind that are important and that we have seen happen in other shows of ours, and we're really trying to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen. Our backdrop is 8 feet. So, the drape is 8 feet. So no backdrop should go above that. If you're in a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20. Also, the booth elements, we want to make sure that, you know, there's no issues with the fire marshal or that there are any issues with people running into stuff. So your booth should be contained within your booth space. It shouldn't bleed into the aisle, or if you happen to be near a booth that has a lounge in it, it shouldn't bleed into there. And then the 10 by 20 end caps, and for those of you who are in those, I will get back to you personally about this, but you need to make sure when you're setting up your booth that you're not blocking the 10 by 10s behind you. So any backdrop you set up needs to only go through halfway along the back side of it. And then again, please don't take your booth down before noon on August 15th. I know that you all have other places to go and other places to be, and the show is pretty much over, but please don't take it down before 12 noon Pacific time. And so if you have any questions or need clarification, my email is on the screen. I will go back and I will talk about the carpeting and reach out to everybody shortly.
Hey, can I
Okay.
ask one more question about
yeah.
the backdrop, please?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
somehow I got confused, and I apologize about that. You were saying if we're doing a backdrop, it can't go more than half across the distance of the booth?
Yeah, so are you in a 10 by 20?
I'm in a 10 by 10. I'm sorry.
Then you don't need to worry about it. It's only for those who are in a 10 by 20 who have an end cap, because then they will have 10 by 10s behind them. And if they take up the whole back space of their booth, then they will block with a backdrop, then they will block the people behind them. But if you're in a 10 by 10, you don't need to worry about it.
Thank you. And
You
the
just want to,
backdrop,
yeah,
and the backdrop cannot be higher than 8 feet. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Thank you.
So we have a 10 by 20 end cap, and typically our backdrop is two 10 by 10s put together. Are you saying that we cannot use both 10 by 10s to make a 10 by 20?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay.
And so Tracy, why don't you and I talk offline?
Okay.
Because I want to see the floor plan before this is in general for all the end caps, but I want to look at and see where your booth is before I give definitive yes or no on how you're going to set up your booth. So I will work with Darlene, and we will reach out to all the 10 by 20s to make sure that you understand what we want. It's just basically to make sure that there's good line of sight for all of our exhibitors.
Sure.
But depending on where you are, it may not be a problem. I just don't know exactly where your booth is.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Could I ask a related
Thanks.
question?
Sure.
On the 10 by 10s, we've also had experiences where people will block adjacent 10 by 10s. A lot of shows have a rule, something like within the front 6 or 7 feet of the booth, you can't have anything higher than 4 feet or something like that, so that you're not blocking the 10 by 10 next to you. Does the show have a rule like that? And if not, I would encourage you to have something similar.
So we have not actually run into that with our show, which is why we don't have a regulation like that. There are occasions when exhibitors will position their backdrop catty corner, and so then they are blocking their next door exhibitors. Usually in that case, it's just somebody that just didn't think it all the way through, and we ask them to move it, and they do.
Okay. If you're willing to talk to people to do something like that, I'm comfortable with that. Just wanted to bring it up while we're here.
Okay. Yeah, we absolutely do. And, you know, we're not trying to set down draconian rules and regulations. We try to be as easygoing as we can, because we know that you're putting a lot of time and energy into setting up your booth, but we want to make sure that it's fair for everybody and that we have good sight lines, and it's and that people can find the exhibitors that they want to find.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so for those of you who have participated in ITE shows before, or perhaps at the district level, we are using Whova, and we're grateful that Stantec is sponsoring the app for us this year. This app provides exhibitors and sponsors a really good presence on the app. So not only will people be able to find you based on the size of your booth, but on category. You can put in marketing messages in that space. You will have access to attendees through the app. It's very easy to find the attendees that you're looking for, to set up any appointments ahead of time that you may want to. Also, lead generation is available at no cost through the app, which is one of the reasons why I'm encouraging you all to get registered sooner rather than later, because that will allow me to get you access to the app so that you can start setting it up so that it is available the day of the conference, if not before. Our attendees are going to start attendees have registered. The app is now available, which means they can go in there and start looking at things now. So the sooner you make your presence available, the better. Rhiannon, I will get to you in just a second. But I just wanted to let you know that I will be having a separate call in July to go specifically through the app. And I'm waiting to July to make sure that more of you have gotten into the Whova app and are familiar with it, so that it makes more sense as we start going through it. And then lastly, exhibitor personnel are the only ones who have access to the app. We're making an exception that if you have marketing personnel who are not going to be at the show, but are going to handle setting up your app, I will give them access. There's a code that they can have, and I can give them that, and you can just have them email me directly. Rhiannon, go ahead with your question.
Is there a specific contact person that would be best to find out if we have already registered or if we haven't yet?
Yeah, I would reach out to Jennifer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she holds all the information. And you know what? That reminded me of two things, and I'm going to go off script for just a second because it is important. We have been getting notifications, and this happens every year. Number one, that there are secondhand vendors, I guess, calling about hotel rooms for Portland. We do not use anybody to book hotel rooms. It is you and then the hotel directly. There are no middlemen. So if you are hearing from those people, or if anybody on your staff or team are hearing and they're saying, oh, so-and-so is calling me about booking rooms for hotels, just hang up. We don't do that. And there's information on our website about that. Number two, you will start getting emails about if you want an attendee list from this show. Jennifer is the only one, and I make this joke every year. Jennifer is the only person who has the list of attendees, and she is not selling it to anybody. So nobody has that list other than ITE. I don't even have it. I have to ask Jennifer for it. So when I say that Jennifer holds all the keys for ITE, I'm not kidding. Your comment, Rhiannon, reminded me of that, so I wanted to bring that up. And then, we're pretty much wrapping it up now. There are some opportunities to increase your branding. Darlene did mention sponsorship opportunities, and I'll let her talk about those in just a second. But one of the questions that I've been getting a lot in my email is about food and beverage in your booth. And yes, we not only allow it, but we encourage it. Just a couple of things. It does need to be ordered through the Oregon Convention Center. It would be great if you use it to complement food and beverage events in the hall. For instance, last year, I believe Unix Traffic brought in a bar during our opening reception, which was great. The one thing you do need to know is it shouldn't conflict with any of ITE's educational programming or events that take place outside the hall. One of the reasons is that most of our attendees, I would say 75 to 80%, if not 90%, actually go to the concurrent sessions. So if you host something when the exhibit hall isn't open, your ROI isn't going to be there. If you're looking to have your own reception outside the exhibit hall, I would suggest Monday night. We do not have any programming after, I believe, 6 o'clock for that exact reason. And I do know that there are a couple of organizations who have already reached out to have their own receptions in the hotel. Some people are having receptions elsewhere. I know when we were in Austin several years ago, it was pre-pandemic, a couple of companies got together and I think they did a cruise, which was fabulous. It all just took place on Monday night. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And we will promote anything that is open. So if you are going to have a bar during the opening reception or offer, I don't know, a special kind of dessert during lunch, and you want other people to know about it, please make sure that we're aware of it. I believe also when we were in Austin, one of our companies had a social in a bar, and we promoted it during our social, which was right before it. And so people went from one bar to another, which worked really well. If it's a private event and you don't want it promoted, well, then we just won't say anything. So that's it on there. Darlene, do you want to say anything more about sponsorship?
Sure. We are still looking for sponsors for concurrent sessions, which is $750 per session, and it's a great opportunity to get your brand out there a little bit. We have some refreshment breaks open, as well as the continental breakfasts and lunches. So again, affordable opportunities for you to just extend your reach and exposure, and also some signage opportunities at the event. So again, I put my email into the chat, so please feel free to reach out and I'll get you to the right people to talk about those sales opportunities.
Great, thank you, Darlene. And I believe, one other important piece of information before we wrap up and we get to questions. The 2024 show is going to be in Philadelphia. I don't know why I said Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, same state, different side of the state. It's going to be in July, and we're going to be doing a joint show with the Mid-Colonial districts. And Wyman will be on site. We will have a floor plan. I'm working on that now. And we will have a floor plan available for people to choose and pay for their booth for 2024. We are in a hotel. It is carpeted. So hopefully we'll have a good number of people register beforehand. And also there is, just as an added hook, there is a strong chance that ITE will be looking at the exhibit hall prices for 2024, but we will hold them firm for anybody who registers for 2024 during the 2023 show. I think with that, yes, I'm done. The presentation is over. I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen because it'll allow me to see more of you as you are asking questions. So I know one of the biggest questions here is going to be around carpeting, and I will be discussing that and get back to you as soon as possible. But I'd like to hear if there are any other questions in the meantime. You can go ahead and raise your. Oh, hey, Mike.
Hey, we may have to buy a couple of full registrations. What's the price for that?
That is a good question, Mike. I am going to have Jennifer and Colleen reach out to you because I know with USDOT and FHWA and JPO that we work with you at the agency level. So that's a little bit different.
So, okay, Fair enough.
Dana, okay, thanks, Mike. And feel free to reach out to me directly. I know you've sent me a couple of emails. I try to respond as quickly as possible, but if you want to jump on a call, let me know. And that goes for any of you. Feel free. I'm happy to schedule individual calls if you need to go over something specifically. Dana, I think I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, I just had two quickies. One was on the height requirements for the backdrop. Does that extend? We have sort of like a truss thing that's kind of high. Like, is there a height limit for stuff in the booth area? That we hang monitors and stuff on it.
So what size is your booth?
It's the 10 by, what do we got?
10 by 20.
10 by 20.
10 by 20. Yes, so you are not supposed to go over the 8-foot backdrop wall.
With anything in your booth?
In your booth, yes.
Oh, so like, okay. Because we have like, it's an ITS show, so we have like cameras and stuff like that. So, okay, that makes sense. And then on
All right.
my other, yeah, we can look at the documentation. I don't want to suck up time. And then on the, just out of curiosity, maybe you said this and I apologize, on the concurrent sessions, you know, when you have the breakout sessions, is there any dedicated time that is strictly for exhibits for the hall? Or is it always 100% people in session?
So, what's taking place this year is when most of the concurrent sessions are taking place outside of the exhibit hall. We do have poster sessions that are taking place at the same time, and those are taking place in the exhibit hall.
Okay, I was just curious if there was any sort of like peak time where nobody's in anything, and I'm just trying to plan our scheduling around the day. Like, do you have hours where it's like 100% exhibitor hours, where you're encouraging people to check out all the booths?
Yes, so that will be so that's the breakfasts. So that's if you look back at the schedule, it's the opening reception, the breakfast, the two breakfasts, the lunch, and the networking breaks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's great.
You're welcome. Nancy, I think you were next.
Hey Pam, thanks for the presentation, all the good info. Very quick question. Do you have any restrictions on the height for a 20 by 20 booth?
No.
Okay, perfect. And
No, but
sorry, go ahead.
Because usually with the 20 by 20s, they're open, right? It's not a solid booth. So no.
Okay, perfect. And I did receive the exhibitor portal link from Dana, but every time I try to click on any of the links, it's just not like opening the page up or whatever information I need to see. So not sure if this is something wrong on my end or if anyone is going through this too.
That's interesting. Let them know, because I've been able to go through the entire exhibitor kit.
Okay.
And Darlene?
Yeah, I
I
just
see,
want to
like,
interject with the exhibitor kit. Fern is sending those invites for the main contact on the exhibit booth to go in and create a login. So I think what's happening is if we're sharing the links, that's not unique to that individual email. It's not working as well. So I think that's part of the problem.
If I could, my name is Pete. When I went into that site, a couple of their links did not have the colon after HTTP : // and as a result, when you mouse over it or when you click on it, it adds another HTTP and it's a broken link. What you can do is copy the link, paste it into the browser, and then fix the link so it's not broken anymore. I sent an email to, I believe, Beth about that.
Okay. Pete, this is Pam. If you can forward that to me, I want to get that to Jamie as soon as possible. You know, we still have a good amount of time for people to order furniture. Obviously, we have more than a month, but you know, Darlene's comment, which follows what I said earlier about having to be you have to have your own personalized link. But also, if the links are acting wonky because of how they're being sent out, I want to make sure that I clarify that as well.
Because Dana did receive the email and she added me as a user, so I received another link to my email address, which I signed up and I added all my information. But now after I signed in, I still can't see anything when I click on any of the links. I just see
Okay.
like the home page where it has all the tabs and the information of what is there to order. But every time I click on something like the shipping information or the booth accessories or anything, nothing is opening up on my end.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Let me work with my team because I added a lot of people on our team. Darlene, I think you were one. So I'm going to see if I can replicate the issue on my end, but I'm definitely going to get a hold of Fern and make sure that people are aware of that issue.
Perfect. Thank you, Pam.
And then let me see. So there was, oh, Mindy. Hi, Mindy.
My question was answered. It was about the for 20 by 20 booths, if there was a height restriction. So I'm all good.
Okay. So there was a question in the chat. If you were not a member who made a reservation at the host hotel, do you qualify for the full registration discount? Yes. Yes, so basically, if you make a reservation at our headquarters hotel, this is what Barbara was talking about, is that you get $100 off your registration fee, and that is not member specific. It is, you just get it because you're an attendee. And yes, I will share the slide deck as well as the recording. Trisha.
Hey Pam, I have a question. Have you guys been in touch with IMSA? Looking at your 2024 dates, you guys are scheduled the week following that show.
I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question because I'm not the one who schedules the conferences. I believe in the past we have done our best to stay away or not be on top of other people's dates. That's the best I can answer, Trisha.
Okay, so
but
that's
again, I
maybe
will let
just-
people know.
Yeah, I think maybe just to make people aware, since for exhibitors that are sharing the same booth between those two shows and attending both of those shows, that could cause some issues. Just given the proximity, they're like 4 or 5 days apart.
Do you know where IMSA is having their show?
Texas.
Okay.
July 11th through 17th. So it ends like Wednesday, and then you guys are starting the following Monday. I just noticed when I went to add your dates into our calendar.
Okay, it's not right next door, but it's not impossible if they have to move
Right.
one booth. Okay.
It's
All
just
right,
going to be more money for the people that have to expedite, and then they're going to have to send their booth direct to the show site, which is also more expensive. So for anybody that's having to share, that's going to be an extra fee, which is going to be a lot of your larger exhibitors.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that. And Darlene, do you mind making a note as well? Because we'll need to probably talk about that when you and Jill are on site.
Sure.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, well, I mean, this call is scheduled until 3 because I wanted to make sure that people had enough time to ask questions. We're just getting to an hour. So we can either wrap up or I can go over anything. If you joined late and you want me to go back over anything, raise your hand and let me know. If you want me to go, if you sat here the entire time and listened to me talk and you want me to go back over anything, please let me know. My takeaway from this is really the big thing about carpeting and then making sure that everybody can access the exhibitor kit. Anything else that I need to check? No? All right. Well,
yes.
Oh, yep.
I'm sorry. I'm not fast enough to type.
That's fine.
So for people that would be attending, and I can follow up with Mike Pina about this, that will be attending and will have a registration, but they're going to need booth access to, set up and take down.
Right.
I'll coordinate
So,
Mike Pina from the USDOT Joint Program Office on that.
yeah, that's fine. If they're full registrations, then they'll have access to the booth. They'll be able to get in and out of the exhibit hall without a problem. But I did share with Mike, because you are both with an agency, we handle those registrations, especially group registrations, differently. So Mike is probably the best person to coordinate that with, and he'll coordinate it with me, and I'll coordinate it with Colleen and Jennifer on our side.
So Pam, it's Mike. I think something that Barbara was trying to get to is on some shows like ITS America, full registered can't get in off hours. So they can't get in during setup. They can't get in after the show closes. Is that your policy?
As long as you have an exhibitor ribbon or an exhibitor on your badge, you'll be fine. So that's why we'll make sure that the people who need to get into your booth to set it up and tear it down will be able to. Yeah, I can handle that. That's not a problem. We can make sure that's coordinated. Because if nothing else, I can just walk over and tell registration to let you in.
Thank you, Pam, and thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? I hope that all of you found this useful. All right, well, with that, I'm going to let you go. Oh, one more, Josh.
Hey, sorry, quick question.
Sure.
I know you mentioned that we're using Whova for the app. It requires a special password to like sign in for each individual conference. Has that been sent out yet, or should we be looking for that?
So what will allow you in first is if you are registered. And then if you still need help, I do have a code, but I have not sent it out. It is not a blanket code. We don't make it available to everybody. If you're registered, you should be able to log in with your email and a password that you set up. At least that's what's happened previously with our shows. So that's why we're encouraging people to register with Jennifer first.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Nancy?
Yes, me again. Really quick, do you know if you have any, or if you're going to provide any floral services for the booth on that exhibitor portal?
Yeah, there are floral. There is the ability to order floral through that exhibitor kit. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And the $100 for the extra exhibit pass, does that give access to the reception, breakfast, lunch, and all that good stuff?
It does, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Josh, I don't know if you still have your hand up, or if you have another question.
Nope, just forgot to put it down.
Okay, just wanted to check. All right. Last call for questions. You all have been great. Oh, yep. Go ahead, Mike.
So Pam, push notifications in the Whova app. Is that something you guys offer, and is there a charge for that?
That is a good question. Yes, Whova has push notifications. We normally reserve them for us. Darlene, maybe that's something we need to talk about.
Yes, that's a great sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, because I mean, last year we did, one of the evaluation comments was there were too many push notifications from ITE. So we'll have to consider it, Mike.
Okay. I just needed to know.
But thank you for raising it.
Yeah, we've done that with other shows. It's worked out really well for us. But if it's one of dozens of other ones coming from ITE, it may not be that effective.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to take last year was our first year using Whova. We were supposed to use it before, but thanks to the pandemic, that didn't happen. So there's been a learning curve, and one of them was that there were too many push notifications. So annoying attendees does not help anyone's cause. All right, I'm going to say it again. Last call for questions. All right, awesome. You guys have been a great audience. And I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions at all, and look forward to an FAQ and this recording and this slide deck shortly. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.